Just getting dressed is a battle for me. Ah, part of me wants to change, but part of me is scared. What if I fail?
If you've ever wondered what happens when unconditional love crosses the line into full-blown enabling, this story doesn't just answer the question, it hits you with the truth in the first 10 seconds. Nephi and his mom have one of the most intense, intertwined dynamics ever captured on the show. It's so extreme that even Dr. Now had to step in and say, enough. But once you understand his heartbreaking past, the devastating accident that left him temporarily paralyzed, and the crushing guilt over his father, the perfect storm of emotional eating and codependence starts to become clear. This isn't just a weight loss journey. It's a psychological battle to break a lifelong cycle.
So we have a nutritionist coming over. I'm feeling a little nervous because I always let food control me. So now it's up to me to control it.
Will Nephi finally stand on his own 2 feet and lose the weight he so desperately needs to lose? Or will the comfort of his mother's kitchen be the end of him? Wake Up Kisses. Season 1, Episode 10 of the 6,000-Pound Diaries followed Nefi Serpa, a 25-year-old man who weighed over 600 pounds and lived in Houston, Texas. In one of the most intense mama's boy dynamics this show has ever seen. And I don't say that lightly. The relationship between Nephi and his mother, Anna, is incredibly loving. They're devoted to each other. But unfortunately, her love often crosses the line into over-caregiving and giving in to his bad choices, like giving him more food when he asks for it, even though she knows she shouldn't. In the very first scene, his mom literally woke him up with kisses. Not a gentle, time to get up, not a knock on the door. Full-on morning kisses like he was 5 years old and she was sending him off to kindergarten. It set the tone for everything that followed. Nephi explained how being 600 pounds was a struggle. His back hurt all the time, his joints ached, even breathing was hard some days.
I may be 25, but my body feels like it's 85.
He added that part of him wanted to change, but part of him didn't. And that tracked. His entire life revolved around sitting, playing video games all day, eating, sleeping, and repeating. He said there was so much he wanted to do, but change was hard. Change sounds good when you're sitting on a couch. And he knew the truth. If he didn't do it then, he probably wouldn't live to see 30. Enter Floor, Nephi's very sweet best friend. They met on Instagram. Nephi messaged her first and she didn't answer immediately because she didn't know who he was. Eventually he got her attention and asked her lots of questions to get to know her, but she was the one who asked him to hang out. The day they were together on the show, he was playing video games, his favorite activity, and she offered him an orange and a banana, healthy snacks, but he wasn't interested. He said he wanted real food, fast food. Nephi said, "Whenever I want to eat something that I shouldn't, Floor will say, 'You can't eat that, bro.'" Anna loved Floor because she was the only person who could get Nephi out of the house. That alone tells you how isolated he was. His mom did everything for him, cooking, laundry, putting his socks on, managing his entire life. Anna told Nephi she wanted him to live to be 90 or 100 years old because she doesn't want him to die young. But she was also the one feeding him the food that was killing him. It was classic enabling, but she thought she was just loving him. A very big boy. Nephi's weight issues started early as it gets. He was a 10-pound baby, and after just a month his weight doubled. He continued gaining throughout childhood. Even as a little boy, doctors continuously told him to lose weight. When Nephi was 10, his father was deported to Mexico.
Growing up, I did realize I didn't need my father in my life because I would go to parks and I see father and son moments. To this day, I do get a little emotional.
He was too young to understand what deported meant, so he didn't cry. Nephi's dad tried to come back to the US to see him once, but he was caught by border control agents and didn't try again. He died when Nephi was 13. And here's the part that hit the hardest. When Nephi was young, his dad would try to video call with him, but Nephi was too embarrassed by his weight. He didn't want his dad to see how big he had become, so he never answered the calls. He ignored every single one of them. Now he regrets that every single day. That guilt is part of the reason he started binge eating and continued doing so into adulthood. By the time Nephi was 14, he weighed about 300 pounds and was bullied constantly. Then in his later teens, he had a terrible accident while driving a go-kart to the corner store. The go-kart hit a deep pothole and flipped over. Nephi had to pull himself out and limp home, alone. Shortly after, he discovered he couldn't get out of bed, couldn't stand up by himself at all. He went to the hospital and learned he had an infection in his spine. He needed surgery and physical therapy, and ended up in the hospital for 3 months. Afterward, he was paralyzed. His mom had to take care of him completely, changing his diaper, showering him in bed, and taking care of all of his other needs. It wasn't a hardship for her, it was an act of love. He was in a wheelchair for a few years. That period cemented their dynamic. She became his caretaker, and he became dependent. And neither of them ever broke out of that pattern. Because of his obesity, Nephi needed a CPAP machine to help him breathe at night. He admitted that he had chest pains and was afraid his heart would just stop beating. His worst fear was dying at an early age. This was why he finally decided to ask Dr. Now for help. He's a mama's boy. On the way to his first visit, he was nervous, excited, and scared because he was afraid Dr. Now might tell him he was too big and couldn't be helped. At his weigh-in, he was 626 pounds. And the first thing he said was, "I'm sorry for letting you down, Mama. Not, I need help, not, I'm scared," but an apology to his mother. Dr. Now asked where he got his food from, and Nephi said he waited for his mom to cook.
Do you go out and buy him some drugs?
No, sir, never.
Okay, but you go out and buy him some food, which is worse than a drug for him at this point.
Anna looked stunned, like no one had ever framed it for her that way before. And honestly, she needed to hear it. Dr. Now told Anna she had to start making low-calorie foods, and he was going to refer them to a nutritionist for help. He added that he wanted Nephi to lose 60 pounds in 2 months and gave him the personal goal of getting a job, so he would stop sitting at home, eating and playing video games all day. As always, Dr. Now hit the nail on the head when he called Nephi a mama's boy, noting that change would be impossible unless his mother stopped enabling him.
Nephi is not going to be able to change unless the dynamic with his mom changes drastically. So it's very important that we work to break this dysfunctional dynamic between them before it's too late.
Speaking of dependency, we are depending on you to give this video a hype and subscribe to Living Large. And in return, you can depend on us for an all-you-can binge buffet of My 600-Pound Life and the best of Dr. Now. Midnight snacks. In spite of good intentions, the enabling continued. During his first month on the diet, Anna got Chinese food for dinner one night. She gave Nephi a plate of broccoli and beef, but he wanted orange chicken and an egg roll. She pointed out that both items were fried, but he insisted, and she caved. Of course she caved. The nutritionist visited soon after and showed them good foods and bad foods. When they were done in the kitchen, she asked if there was anything else in the house that was a bad food. Nephi sheepishly told his mom and the nutritionist to wait as he went to his bedroom. He returned with candy and chips he had hidden under his bed so he could eat them before he went to sleep.
What is more important? Two things: surgery or food? What is more important for you?
I chose the surgery, that's why I turned chips in.
I don't want to see you this again because still release this time.
For the first time, she was visibly annoyed. After turning in his stash of snacks, Nephi promised his mom that he was going to do what he had to do. But he missed a therapy session due to oversleeping, And before his next weigh-in, he was nervous that he hadn't done enough to lose the 60 pounds Dr. Now had told him to lose. And he was right. He didn't even come close. At his next weigh-in, he was 619. He had only lost 7 pounds. His mom was visibly upset. Dr. Now wasn't mad, but he didn't sugarcoat things either.
You know, if you don't want to end up dead in 5 years, you have to lose weight now because you don't have much time. Okay?
Yeah.
It was blunt, but it was true. Dr. Now blamed Mom, but Nephi knew it wasn't up to her. It was up to him to get serious and lose the weight so he could be approved for surgery. But his mom admitted that sometimes she gave him extra food because she felt sorry for him and wanted to see him happy.
I want to see the happy.
So make him happy and give him the food is helping him to die quicker. Is that making any sense?
No, I need to learn.
Dr. Now told Nephi this would be his last chance. If he didn't lose 60 pounds in the next 2 months, he would be done with the program. He stressed that they both had to get motivated, or Nephi's health wouldn't improve, and he would stay on the same dangerous path. He prescribed therapy for both of them and hoped it would change their destructive behavior. Nephi's last chance. Dr. Now had also encouraged Nephi to get a part-time job, which would provide a little more structure to his days and get his body moving. Nephi understood that his dream of becoming a barber may take some time, so although he'd begun attending barber school, he also got a side job delivering packages. Every now and then, Floor would come along for the ride, which helped to keep Nephi motivated, active, and making healthy food choices. It was the first real step in the right direction, and the first time Nephi showed signs of truly committing to Dr. Now's program. He even joked that eating healthy food, like grilled chicken and broccoli, had an added benefit. It does not make him want to overeat. Soon after, Nephi and his mom had their first video chat with the therapist. She told Mom to stop making big meals for Nephi and to let him be more independent.
It's about giving him space to grow into his own life and giving yourself permission to let go.
Next, she told Nephi to take over all aspects of his food, what he ate, how he got it, and how he prepared it.
So, here's where we start. I want you to take over all aspects of your food, like what you eat, how you get it, how you prepare it. So if you mess up, it's not on her, it's on you.
Lastly, the therapist encouraged Nephi to record a video message to his deceased father, expressing everything he'd never been able to say before. She helped him understand that emotional healing was a necessary step in his weight loss journey, and that it might actually help him find closure around his father's absence. It was difficult at first, but finally, Nephi began to lead with his heart instead of his head, letting go of his self-consciousness and embracing the exercise. Nephi recorded a heartfelt message, apologizing for not taking his calls, and admitting he'd been afraid of his dad's reaction to how heavy he'd gotten. He expressed regret that he never got the chance to say goodbye to his dad, but promised he was on the road to change, recommitting to his professional ambitions and to his weight loss journey. On his third visit to Dr. Now's office, Nephi was confident he'd lost at least 60 pounds. His mom and Floor were there to cheer him on. He weighed 553. He had lost 66 pounds. His mom was so happy, she hugged him and said, "You did it!" Dr. Now was also proud of him and approved him for weight loss surgery. But first, Nephi had to lose 30 more pounds in the next month. Dr. Now warned that if Nephi didn't lose the weight, he wouldn't get the surgery. In July 2025, the moment of truth had finally arrived. Nephi stepped on the scale at 519 pounds, not only meeting Dr. Now's goal, but crushing it. But as he prepped for surgery, the atmosphere in the room shifted. His mom was right there by his side, and she couldn't hide how scared she was. Her mind flashed back to when Nephi was just 11, waiting for him to come out of surgery after his accident. He's twice the size he was then, she admitted. And I know how dangerous this is. Nephi, however, said he had faith in God and hoped the surgery went well. Afterwards, he promised that he was going to do everything right. At the very end of the episode, Nephi recorded another video message to his dad, telling him he was doing better. He started going out more, cooking for himself, helping mom around the house, and even had a job prospect as a barber, which he worked hard for. He thinks his dad would be proud of him. However, some things never change. His mom still wakes him up in the morning with kisses. But now she says, "You're getting thinner and thinner." The episode ended with Nephi weighing 463 pounds, saying he was in a happy place, and all he ever wanted was to make his mama proud. And that's where we leave Nephi, a lifelong mama's boy who finally grew up, enough to save his own life. He lost the weight, he got the surgery, and he started taking responsibility for himself. At 463 pounds, he's healthier, happier, and finally stepping into adulthood, living the life he almost didn't get to have. By the way, what did you think of the 6,000 Pound Diaries? New show, same doctor now. Should we cover more episodes? Let us know what you think, and stay tuned for more heavyweight shenanigans coming right up.